Good day, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Vise Squad, brought to you by our friends at Togens and by our good pals at Dr. Slick. This week I'm going to tie a little pumpkin head leech pattern. Maybe a little different than the traditional one, but we're going to give her anyway. In the vise, we're going to put a size 12 curved nymph hook by Togens, and we're going to have a 1/8 painted bright orange tungsten bead on there, and we're going to use some 12-aught black nano silk. I'm going to start that right behind the bead and work it to the back end. Get rid of our tag and get a hold of it. So I'm going to wind that to about where the barb is, give or take. Next, I'm going to take, this is some olive Maribou, and this is just a bit off of one plume, but I'm going to thin that out, make it not quite so thick, pretty sparse. A couple I don't like in there. All right. We'll tie that in maybe just a little bit longer than the hook. I'd say 1.5 times the hook length. And we'll tie that down the hook shank. Get it in there, tied in really nice and tight. Snip out the butts of that. Like so. Now we'll just run some thread wraps, really lashing that down and just kind of smoothing out that body. Like so. Next I'm going to take some, I'm not too sure what color this is, it's kind of an orangey gold color. Anyway, some crystal flash. I'm going to take a couple bits of that. Tie it down the side of the hook. So it kind of comes off the side going backwards. Like that, about the length of the tail. You don't want it to extend too far past. And I'm just going to wrap that over and tie it in and then snip it off. More or less the length of the other two. Next we're going to tie in, I've got a orange dyed saddle feather that looks like this, and I'm going to take one side of that feather, I'm going to rip all the barbs off, so we'll just have barbs on one side. Oops. Like that. And we're going to take that. I'm going to tie it in right at the back. And just lash all that down. Next, we're going to use some ice dub by Hairline, and this is olive brown color. So we're just going to take a little bit and we're going to dub the body up to the bead with it. I'll make a bit of a taper on that body. to about the size of the bead. Unless you want a really big fat leech, in which case, dub the heck out of it. One more little pinch in there. There we are. Now we'll take that feather and we're just going to make even wraps. Making sure you don't trap any fibers as you go here. And then I'll just, once I get to the bead, I'm just going to finish wrapping that out, make a bit of a collar behind that bead. A couple, 2 or 3 turns. Reach in there with our thread, tie that off. Like so. We're going to reach in there with our scissors. Nice and close. And snip out the end of that feather. I'm just going to put a few turns in here just to try and make that hackle kind of point backwards. It's a pretty stiff feather, this one, so it may or may not. Anyway, what we'll do next is we'll grab just a little pinch of that dubbing again. Dub it on there. Just to hide those thread wraps a little bit. And a couple turns. Then I'm going to grab my whip finish tool here. I'm going to put that thread at the bottom end of where I still have the dubbing there. And I'm going to whip finish the dubbing through and finish the knot. Pretty simple little leech pattern. Very effective. All right. For the giveaway this week, I think we'll just go with whoever wants to comment first below on the main video. Just let us know you want them, and I'll tie a few up and we'll get them sent out to you within the next few days. Excellent. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, thanks for tuning in. There's lots of crazy good content going on Goes to 11 right now. Rick's been really busy, all sorts of new stuff going on. There's a whole new look to the store coming up. I don't believe it's out yet, but it's coming. And there's going to be some pretty cool new stuff for sale on the store as well. So take the time if you got it and go check it out, and check out our other talent as well that we got going on. Until next week, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Togens, thanks Dr. Slick, and thank you Rick.